Hey, what up everybody? In today's video I want to walk you through what's going on here at Handiwerx. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Jesse from Handiwerx.com, and today we're going to walk you through an $800,000 handyman project. As you can see behind me here, we have a pretty big building. This is actually a 6,000 square foot building. And the reason why I say this is a handyman project is because there's three of us who are actually doing the bulk of the work besides, the HVAC, the electric, and the plumbing. Those things need to be farmed out to actual, licensed professionals. We can't really do that in-house. But I'm going to walk you through everything else. And excuse my voice, it's a little raspy today. I'm a little under the weather. But let's take you on a tour and show you what's going on here. In this building here, we've been working on this since December of 2018, and it is now October of 2019. We're just about done. We're kind of on the finishing stretch here, but with a project like this, it has a lot of moving parts and it's really hard to coordinate everything, and sometimes mistakes happen. We have a couple other videos on the channel with some more detail on those subjects. So first up, if you look at this opening here, this is going to be a conference room. This is actually a doorway. All of this wood was milled and built on site. All of these openings here, these three on the top and these two on the sides, these side lights, these are all going to be glass. And the doors here, there's two doors. This is going to be a French door opening, and these are actually going to be made on site as well. Here's some of the HVAC. As you can see up in the ceiling here, it runs all the way back. This is all brand new. The whole HVAC system. There's actually 3 rooftop units. We'll take you outside and we'll do the tour of the exterior. So now here up on the ceiling, you can see that there's a header beam. And the reason for this is because we actually removed the whole front of this building, and all of the metal structure that's underneath the cement block was all replaced. The reason why these columns here in between these windows are so big is because it has actually mullion posts in between there, and this header beam up here, that wall there was actually sinking down and pushing out. So what we had to do was put in some pylons underneath the building and go down about 40 feet and lift it back up to hold it so it's secure and it's not going to shift anymore. But because it pulled away so much, the rafter beams were out of the pockets, so we had to cut them back and put a support header up there in order to fasten everything together. In the beginning of this build, we removed the entire front of this whole building, and it was literally just floor and ceiling. Everything else was taken out except for the original columns here. But what we did is we put new I-beams all the way across, and in these window openings here where the trim is pretty thick, there's actually steel mullion posts holding up the I-beam, which go down to this block foundation that goes down 4 feet, and it's totally core filled. So all of these walls too are brand new. You can see down this row here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 offices. They're all kind of the same size, same format. All the doors and windows are going to be the same size. Another cool thing to show you is that these light fixtures here, these light fixtures were also made on site. What we did is we took these ash wood here that we have. So this is what we're making the trim and the doors out of. All this raw material here, this has all been turned into doors, windows, trim, pretty much all the finishing things. The only thing that we're not making on site with this ash wood is the cabinets. We don't actually have time in the timeline to get them done, but we were going to build the cabinets originally, but we switched gears and we just got something from IKEA. Back to the light fixture here. All of these were made on site. As you can see down this corridor here, this none but lights, same thing in each room. When we started on this building, it was just a big empty open space. None of this drywall existed. It was just cement walls, cement floor. This clay tile is original. The doorways are original as well, but here's actually one of the doors. We made this on site already. This is an 8-foot by 8-foot door that we built. This is a big, heavy beast. We still have to make a bunch of doors, but we've got 2 of them built so far. This being one of them. This is kind of the showpiece. This is an 8-foot tall by 8-foot wide door with, you know, glass. This is tempered glass, by the way. In this, you know, this track here, we had to kind of fabricate that out of two tracks because they don't sell anything that's 16 feet long. Now this space is going to be used as commercial offices, and so there's a whole lot that went into this build, and it's still going into this build. And a lot of this has to do with ADA compliance, and if you're not familiar with that, that is actually the handicap accessibility rules in the IRC book, the International Building Code. And now if you checked out any of our other videos, you might have seen the video on this one here about how to do a feature wall made out of marble. This wall is actually going to have 2 drinking fountains on it. You know, again, that's part of the ADA rules. And now around this corner here, we have 2 bathrooms. One has a shower, and the other one is just a standard bathroom. We also did a video about this bathroom here, about how to install subway tile without a tape measure. We did all of this tile on this wall without a tape measure at all. And here's another door that was made out of that lumber pile over there that you just seen. We don't have the door stop on yet, but you know, this is our only facility at the moment, so we needed something. And this door, I want to add, is pretty thick. You know, as far as pinkies are concerned, it's, you know, that's pretty thick. We haven't put the back band on yet, so this is partially finished. This is, you know, as we're making our way through the project, we're tightening these things up. And this bathroom, we also have another video about this, about how to do a custom shower without a curb. And again, that's another ADA requirement. This has been prepped and ready. This is 3 coats of waterproofing. We started on the tile, but we had a bit of a fiasco with the plumber. I'm going to post another video about that. In this area here, once this is all cleaned up, there's going to be fax machines, copy machines, a little working table for, you know, office use. Now, another thing about this building is that this is going to be a functioning wood shop. This is actually where we're making all of the materials. So everything in here, all of the light fixtures, all the doors, all this trim, pretty much anything that's, you know, being cut or, you know, made out of wood is happening in here in this room. We're actually at the point now where the electricians are kind of cleaning up some things, and they're finishing putting in all of the, you know, outlets and light fixtures and, you know, things of that nature. Now this wall here, I want to talk about this wall specifically, because if this is going to be a nice quiet office, how do you have a functioning wood shop on the other side? Well, you can see that this wall here is really thick. What we did is we used a 2x4 steel stud, and we have sound channel, 2 layers of drywall, and green glue in the middle. And if you're not familiar with what green glue is, it's a soundproofing product similar to like a caulking that you put in between your drywall sheets. But essentially there's 4 sheets of drywall, sound insulation, and green glue all on this wall. So by the time we get these windows and doors in, and this is also going to be insulated glass, by the way, so that it's going to retain the sound in this room and not, you know, bellow out into here. And another thing to point out is that this room here has its own rooftop unit for heat and air conditioning, so that the sound and the sawdust and things, it doesn't travel into this space. So the rest of this building is heated and cooled with 2 units. One being here, you can see this is the plenum, and the other one is above the bathroom, which is a lot more harder to access. I'm not going to climb up there and show you that. But as we continue on the tour here, this is all shiplap that was recycled. This is actually original to the building. When this building was originally built, it was 3 separate buildings that was turned into one complete building, and this shiplap here was actually the exterior, along with this shiplap over here was the exterior. And there actually was a doorway here, and you can see that there's a difference in the cement block because this went up and we actually had to cut these window openings out. But back to this shiplap here. So back to this shiplap. This shiplap was all recycled. This is all original to the building. We're just gonna leave it just dirty like this. I mean, it's been dusted off, but we're not gonna paint it. We might clear coat it. I'm not sure yet. But this is our wall finish, along with this wall here. So this wall was actually original. We didn't touch this. The window openings were already there. We did cut this doorway opening in, but the remainder of this wall is all original. Minus some of the stuff up there. As you can see, we got nice and tight up into the joist cavities with the wood, but pretty much from above the window up has been replaced. So as we continue here on a shiplap tour, and so this shiplap carries around all the way to that side. This wall and this wall, this wasn't original. We actually installed this, and we had to match. As you can see, our seams line up. If you're the type of person who's just throwing things on and you're not paying attention to the finer details, that's really what makes or breaks you in this business. Now, as you can see, our seams line up there too. And you know, we have 3 more offices up here. This wall here that runs down the front of this is actually a structural wall. Here in Minnesota, where we're located, we have to follow the snow load rules, which says that wet snow on a roof has a certain, you know, amount of weight added to it. So what our solution was is we built this wall here that goes the length of these offices, and this is the load-bearing wall. This is all structural, so it holds up the weight of the entire ceiling. And again, on the back wall, so the back wall is carrying weight, this wall is carrying weight, and it continues on, and the roof pitch changes from this side of the wall to the other. But all this trim, this is actually finished. This has been sanded and clear coated. This is final coated. We're just ready for the windows. We're ready for the doors. We're gonna start working on those really soon. Again, more light fixtures that were made from scratch. We got some air transfers going on here. Each side of this air transfer here is open on the top. As you can see, it's on both sides. And this lets air pass through without letting sound out, so that you can, you know, have private details, you know, when you're doing business. And when we take you outside to show you what's going on, this plywood wall here, this is actually our barricade at the moment. So the rear entry is not finished, and we'll show you what that looks like in just a little bit. Another thing too to point out, you can see that we have these LVLs here. These are actually structural beams that span the distance of this whole room. And the reason for that is because when we get outside, I'll show you, but the new rear structure goes up about 5 feet higher than the existing structure. So that's going to be a big wind tunnel where snow collects, and there's going to be extra weight at that location. So we had to reinforce the ceiling here quite a bit. Now this space here, this is going to be the future kitchen. We've already got some cabinets built. This is actually going to be where all of the cabinets are. There's going to be an island. We've already got our electrical in place. We got this funky light fixture here, which is, you know, going to have some tables, and there's going to be a bench all along that wall over there. And now, just to show you that this isn't YouTube magic, as you can see here on the building permit, this is actually a Handiwerx project, and this here is a construction document. If you're unfamiliar with what a construction document is, a lot of people call them blueprints. We have a video on YouTube here where we walk you through how to read these things. This is phase 2. Actually, we did a phase 1 earlier in the year, which was the front, and this is phase 2, as you can see here, which is the interior of the building. And just to give you an idea, this is what the original front of the building looked like. And we'll take you outside in a minute. We'll show you what the exterior looks like now. And the last stop on the tour is this janitor closet. All the data, mop sink, you know, pretty much standard stuff. You can see that some of the ductwork here has been wrapped. Electrical's unfinished, and things are in progress. All right, so now let's take you on the outside and let's show you what's going on out there. Some of this stuff is still under construction, like the sidewalk, for example. You can see that they're ready to pour. Ugh. And now that is what the front of the building looks like now. Now, if you remember on the picture, the whole building was just smooth in the front, and this doorway wasn't recessed at all. This is also another requirement of the ADA rules, which allows for handicap access. Per the building code, a entry door cannot open onto a public walkway. So we had to recess the entryway 5 feet in order for a wheelchair to get in and still have enough room to swing open to shelter the person who's you know, getting in the building. We also have some carpentry work that we did here. This is just old beadboard. Well, it's actually new beadboard, but it's made to look old. And come Monday morning, this is all going to be cemented in. We have a driveway, curb, and we got a monster project going on here too. It's not ours, but you know, that's what's going on. And now this is the back of the building. We're gonna do some siding along here. You can see we got our house wrap on, and you know, we got the windows covered. But the remainder of the building is all just gonna be the original brick. The last phase of this project here is gonna be the parking lot. And currently that's under construction. There's going to be a poured wall here. These are actually footings, and then there's going to be a curb all the way around with blacktop as the main area. And maybe if you remember from earlier in this video, this is the plywood wall here that goes into the building, and this is actually the rear entryway. As you can see, we don't have a window on or a door yet, or our sidewalk poured, but that's all coming in the next week. This ceiling here, this is all 2x8 construction, 3/4 inch plywood. The roof is already on, everything's watertight. And we're gonna sheetrock this after putting some lighting in here and some security cameras and things, but this is it. It's just gonna be exposed cement. And just to give you a little rooftop view, there's the 3 rooftop units. That one's feeding the wood shop, that one's the main area, and that one's above the bathrooms. And this is a brand new roof. This is a 90 mil rubber roof, all new gas lines. Like I said, everything on this building has completely been gone through, which is why this is an $800,000 project. I'm sure we'll probably crack that number by the time it's done, but for the most part, we've already, I think, cracked 700, so we're still counting. Another thing that we did in this building was that we put all new electrical in. This is all new electrical. This is a 3-phase panel. The feed goes inside, but we had all this ran underground before the parking lot obviously went in place. And yeah, so we'll give you guys another walkthrough when we're all said and done, and we'll show you how it looks. And for those of you who are saying, wait a minute, this isn't a handyman job, and you're probably thinking this is more of a bona fide general contractor job, well, you're correct. I am a licensed contractor. However, I say this is a handyman job because you know, for the most part, all of the components of this project are being done by just 2 or 3 people who are all versatile, who really can do anything. And you know, it kind of helps for us to not have to sub everything out to everybody else, and we can just blow through the project and, you know, knock things out in quick fashion because their project isn't being you know, spread out over so much time. And as I said, we've been at this one for about a year. There's been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of variables that play into this whole project, but we're almost done. And that's our new power box there. That's all that phase 3 power. So yeah, anyhow, If you guys have any questions or any comments, if there's anything that I missed that you want to see or you want to know about, just go ahead and leave a comment. If you're in this kind of work and you want some tips, or if you're a homeowner and you want to know how to do this kind of work, hit the subscribe button and the bell. That way you'll know when we post more things. And I also have a big rant coming up where I'm going to kind of explain to you guys why I hate these big projects and kind of what the drawback is. There's some pros and cons, but for me personally, I think there's more cons than pros, which is ultimately what was the birthplace of our mobile app, the Handiwerx app, which open enrollment is now going on nationwide. If you live in the United States and you're interested in becoming a part of a very large network of handymen, go ahead and visit teamhandiwerx.com. I'll put a link in the description below, and sign up, and we'll see you there. All right, y'all.